Your travel CX automation didn't fail. It started completing high-stakes customer actions without clear ownership. Most travel brands believe their customer service automation is working. During disruptions, customers are routed to chat instead of phone queues. Agents handle fewer repetitive requests. Operational costs appear more controlled during peak stress events. From the outside, the system looks resilient. That apparent resilience is exactly what makes the risk hard to see. Because in high-stress travel moments, automation does not fail by breaking. It fails by completing regulated, high-impact customer actions without a system that can clearly prove who owned the outcome, why it was allowed, and how it was executed. Where risk actually enters high-stress travel journeys. The risk does not emerge when automation is discussed or piloted. It emerges after automation is trusted to act. In travel, that moment arrives when AI-driven systems are allowed to execute actions such as rebooking passengers, issuing refunds, or generating vouchers during disruptions. These are not informational tasks. They are transactional decisions with financial, contractual, and regulatory consequences. At that point, automation stops being a customer interface and becomes an execution authority. Understanding a traveler's intent is not the same thing as owning the completion of their request. A system can correctly interpret, "I need to be rebooked," and still expose the organization if there is no deterministic mechanism enforcing fair rules, eligibility constraints, disclosure requirements, and proof of consent at the moment the action is completed. Why nothing looks wrong at first. In the middle of a disruption, speed matters. Automation delivers speed. Customers are moved off hold. Journeys feel responsive. Agents are relieved from manual triage. But what changes underneath the surface is accountability. Completion becomes distributed across chat systems, back-end tools, and exception handling processes that were never designed to function as a single defensible source of truth. There is no unified system that can later explain with certainty why a specific rebooking or refund was issued, under which policy, and with whose approval. The customer outcome exists. The operational event is logged. But ownership of the decision is unclear. This is not an efficiency problem. Travel organizations often describe these gaps as last-mile automation issues or integration challenges. That framing understates the risk. High-stress travel journeys are regulated precisely because outcomes matter. Refund amounts, voucher eligibility, passenger rights, and payment handling are governed by consumer protection rules, payment standards, and contractual obligations. When AI-driven systems complete these actions without a deterministic completion layer, the organization is left relying on reconstruction after the fact. Conversation logs, partial system updates, and assumptions stand in for proof. That is not a customer experience failure. It is a defensibility failure, the meeting no one prepares for. This risk does not surface during a disruption. It surfaces later. It appears during a customer dispute, a chargeback investigation, a regulatory inquiry, or an internal audit following a major operational event. Someone asks for evidence, not explanations. They want to know how a specific traveler was rebooked, why a refund amount was issued, or whether required disclosures were presented and acknowledged. Answering those questions often requires piecing together fragmented records across systems that were optimized for speed, not accountability. That is when organizations realize they automated execution without automating responsibility. What is actually missing from most travel CX architectures? Most travel CX stacks are designed to orchestrate conversations and route work. Very few are designed to own completion in regulated high-stress journeys. What is missing is a system layer whose explicit job is to take responsibility for outcomes. A layer that enforces deterministic execution paths, applies policy and regulatory rules at the moment of action, captures consent and disclosures in context, and produces a complete audit-ready record of what occurred. Without that layer, automation may reduce friction in the moment while increasing exposure later. What completion and compliance means in practice. Completion, in the context of high-stress travel journeys, means that regulated customer actions are executed through predefined, enforceable workflows rather than probabilistic decision paths. Compliance means that those workflows embed policy, financial controls, and regulatory requirements directly into execution, not as an after-the-fact review. Together, completion and compliance ensure that when a traveler is rebooked, refunded, or issued a voucher, the organization can prove exactly how the outcome was produced and why it was allowed. This distinction matters because regulated environments do not evaluate systems based on intent or good faith. They evaluate them based on evidence. The question every travel leader should be asking now: if automation is already completing high-stakes customer actions during disruptions, there is one question that cuts through operational metrics and CX scores. If we had to prove months later exactly how a traveler's rebooking or refund was authorized and executed, could we do so confidently without reconstructing the event? If the answer is uncertain, the risk already exists, not because the system failed, but because it completed actions without a clear, accountable execution layer. Why this risk will increase, not disappear. As travel complexity grows, automation will be pushed further into moments that were previously handled manually. Speed will continue to win in the moment, and governance will continue to lag unless it is designed into execution itself. High-stress journeys amplify this gap. When pressure is highest, shortcuts feel justified. That is precisely when deterministic completion and compliance matter most. Automation is not the finish line. Every travel brand will automate disruption handling. Only some will be able to demonstrate under scrutiny that their automated systems complete high-stakes customer actions responsibly. The difference is not how conversational the AI sounds or how quickly a journey resolves. It is whether completion itself is treated as a system responsibility rather than an assumption. In high-stress travel moments, success is not defined by how fast the system responded. It is defined by what the organization can prove afterward,